Baptism. What is it good for? A common question for Christians is, do you need to be baptized to be saved? Jesus says, whoever believes and is baptized shall be saved. 1 Peter says, baptism saves you. For some, this is unsettling because it sounds too easy, as if salvation simply comes out of thin air and we have no role to play. And so they point to the word believe to keep baptism from being seen as superstitious or a magical formula. Believing in Jesus becomes our contribution to his saving work. But is that what Jesus intended? Commonly, people misunderstand that belief, also known as faith, is something we control or are responsible for. Think about that for a minute. When you say you believe in Jesus, you're saying you trust him. And this is where the rubber hits the road. When you trust someone, it's because of what they say and what they do. They give you something to believe in. So when you believe in and trust Jesus, it's because he's at work. Now, let's look at baptism. When you're baptized, Jesus is at work, giving you something to believe in. And what is that? Jesus is giving you his word of promise that he's made you his own, forgives your sin, and will raise you to eternal life. Believing in that promise does something to you. It saves you. So since baptism saves you, what does that mean for your daily life? It's not uncommon for people to think of baptism as something that has happened in the past and is now over and done with, like a magical formula. But baptism isn't a magical formula. It's a promise, Christ's promise of salvation and eternal life. Now, people usually think of a promise as something that's going to happen in the future, but that isn't the only impact a promise has. How so? Well, when you get a promise, you have something to call on, to claim when times get tough, in the here and now. The promise of baptism is no different. So let's go back to the original question. Do you need to be baptized to be saved? In Mark 16:16, Jesus isn't giving you a to-do list as if you need to accomplish something. Instead, Jesus is telling you how it is. He's making both the first and final move in your salvation by giving you a promise. He's promising you forgiveness, salvation, and eternal life. Now you have something to believe. This is most certainly true.